Hello, folks. We're doing a hangout from Cerveza Modelo Especial. I'm being joined by Harry from Blue Nose. And he's over there in England, in the United Kingdom, and I'm over here in the United States, Louisiana Beer Reviews. I have a Negro Modelo glass.
Oh, very nice.
And we have, but we have Modelo.
Ah, you get the cans there.
We get cans, bottles of all sorts. But this can was the best value, I think, for price, because I could have gotten the bottle, but the bottle was 2 ounces less, but it was about 40 cents more money. So why would I pay 40 cents more to get 2 ounces less? That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Even though the bottle, what size bottle is that? 355?
Yes, it is. Yeah, 355. Yeah.
Yeah, this can is 710.
Oh, okay. That's big one, actually.
700.
I think the more.
Yeah, 710 milliliters, and the price in British money would have been £2.39. Now, whether that's a good deal, I don't know. I don't.
It's not the best. I mean, I got 4 of these bottles of these 355s for £3 because they were sort of like end of line. But I've since seen that they're selling these because now they're selling these for £5 for 4 bottles. But I got mine for £3, so I was pretty happy.
Yeah. Well, Modelo is pretty popular here, so it commands a higher price, right? It's popular, people buy it, so they charge. It's considered, in the United States at least, sort of a better beer. So they charge a higher price. Now, the discount Mexican beers would be things like Tecate, about 30% less money, maybe 40% cheaper. You know about the stats on this beer, right? The specs?
Not too much, no.
And I wanted the audience to know, this was Harry's idea.
I know some information about it, but not bags. I
did not say I need to do another Modelo examination, but Harry ideas that he wants to do them, and I like to do it. I like to do these things so he knows who to talk to.
Yeah. It's especially with these ones which, example being like the Bud Light or something like that. You know, we don't have it over here. Well, we do have it over here now, but it's nice to hear your views on it, on how it is. But you know, this one especially is like, it's very, very rare to find it here. You do not find it in bars. You don't find it in restaurants. It's very, very rare that you find it in a supermarket. And other bottle shops, you just won't find it at all. I mean, I was amazed I even found it in a supermarket.
Every Mexican restaurant in the United States has this beer, and practically every grocery store has it in the cans or bottles like you have. The tall bomber bottles, full-size cans that I got, and maybe even other configurations, and on draft at certain places. I've never had it on draft. I would imagine it's pretty good. You want me to give you a little rundown on the specs?
Okay.
I have it right here, Crown Imports. Okay, it's made with unfiltered, let me rephrase it. It's made with filtered water. I noticed a little feedback on our audio. It might be coming on your end. I don't know. I know you had some computer issues. Okay, so filtered water, malted barley, hops, corn, and yeast. Use 2-row barley malt instead of 6-row like you would normally get with these mass-produced lagers. So they're using a better barley malt. Okay, now they're saying it gives a slightly sweet, well-balanced taste with light hops character and crisp finish. 4.4% alcohol, 145 calories. It's the second biggest selling import in the United States. The first would be Corona Extra.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little bit more information.
So
It's called Modelo because it's,
you say yours is 4.4%.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is 4.5. Yeah, just strangely slight difference.
Yeah, I'm just reading what they're saying here on the website. I could go look at the can. They might not have updated their information. They'll say though that sometimes these ABVs will vary just a little bit. Like of a percent. Started in 1925 to create a model beer in Mexico City. They say it's Pilsner style, not Pilsner, Pilsner style. They said since its introduction into the United States in the 1990s, Modelo Especial has grown organically. That makes sense since they did nothing to advertise it until the last couple of years. Gaining its status from below via bodegas, convenience stores, and word of mouth. Yeah, I believe that. They're doing advertisements on television because they got bought out by Anheuser-Busch InBev in 2013, you see. So then since they own 100% of it, and it's, although it's handled in the United States by Constellation Brands, but since InBev took it over, you started seeing a bigger profile for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, you've had it before, eh?
Yeah, I've had
it. You were drinking on. That's a very golden beer, isn't it?
It is, really is. Carbonation is quite low as well, well, medium lowish.
Harry, don't you find this is more golden than the average macro lager?
Well, it definitely is. You know, it's especially than the more US style macro lagers for sure.
Yeah.
It's got that touch of like a Euro lager color about it, really.
I'll tell you what. The aroma, okay, really sweet, little bit grain, but the flavor is what sets it apart. It is just not like American lagers. There's something about this Mexican beer that it's different. And I don't even think Mexican corn tastes the same. Like if you eat corn from Mexico, it doesn't have the same flavor as American grown. And I don't know if that's the soil, but it's not the same.
It's just it's light, but it's not light in a strange way. I find it very, very light lager, but it's obviously not light in terms of the ABV. It's it's got, you know, a nice little bit of carbonation, that breadiness, that biscuitiness, that little bit of sweetness. I'm not the biggest fan of the aroma of it, because I think it's probably because it's in a bottle that it's tasting the aroma's a little bit skunky. Yeah, clear bottle and traveling all this distance probably didn't help that, but it's actually like a bit. I really do.
One good thing about the can version is you don't have to worry about the skunking issue.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I really like it actually. Really do.
You could say the body's sort of light to medium, right? The lower end of medium, but like you said, not thin.
But it's light but not thin, but it's got like a little bit extra. It's got that sort of a nice. It's a little bit more viscous, I say in a way. A little bit of a thicker body than you're expecting.
Yeah. I agree with that. And have you ever had the Negra, Modelo Negra?
I haven't. We get it here very rarely, so I haven't managed to try it yet.
Very common here, and it's 5.4%, and it's a whole different. It's that different type animal. I did get these glasses sent to me from the company.
Oh, that's very nice of
for free. I had to, they said, well, look, if you make cooking videos with Negro Modelo, the beer, I don't know why they chose me. I was not aware that I had some kind of special cooking ability to prepare food, but somehow they thought I did. They might have had me confused with a chef. I was a chef. I said, well, okay. First I thought it was scam, but they didn't ask for any money or a credit card number. So I get this big package in the mail, and they had these two stem glasses with the gold rim, beautiful glasses, you know. And then there was a box of spices from Illinois, and a bunch of little brochures on the beer and the spices, and then a cutting board, and $50. Maybe if you turn your volume down, it might help that. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
it's not buzzing. It's almost like somebody speaking through a tube. But it may not be audible. It may not be audible on the playback. Like people hearing it, watching it may not hear that. And they sent me $50 to buy the beer, you know. It was actually a $50 Visa card. I guess I could have bought anything with the money and stole, you know, I could have stolen, but I wanted, you know, so I bought the cases of beer, and I made these series of cooking videos. And I asked the representative, I said, well, how do you like the videos? Oh, they're wonderful. They're wonderful, he told me. And I was thinking, well, just goes to show you, you don't have to be a chef with any sort of cooking expertise, and somebody might ask you to make cooking videos. All right.
Exactly. I mean, they're more likely to want people who are, you know, down to earth and honest, and everyone can relate to, than having someone, you know, who is a chef who is cooking complicated things.
Right. Yeah, right. They just wanted me to cook with pork, beef, and chicken. Oh, and the other stipulation, of course, was to, after making the food, drink the beer with the food and show how it paired, you know. I said, well, I'm not just going to get on the video. I'm not just going to get on video and brag about how good the beer is just because you're sending it. He said, but you already said you like that beer. I watched the videos. I said, yeah, that's true. It did pair very well. And I think this one pairs very well too, especially with things like tamales and enchiladas and
oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, example being the other day when I was in TGI Fridays, that's the only place I can get Pacifico Clara. Can't get it anywhere else. And I had that with, you know, sort of a Mexican dish remotely, and you know, it worked perfectly with it. And I can see this similarly working perfectly with that sort of food as well. It's just lovely, and like, it worked well with many different foods, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that Pacifico, they got bought out by Modelo also. They were started in the west coast of Mexico in the Pacific Ocean. You know, Pacifico makes sense. And by all these were started by German immigrants, right? So, but they got bought out by Grupo Modelo. Oh, here's some comments. Josh Terry says this beer is amazing. I think it's amazing within a certain context. I agree with that. Within a certain context. Elgin 23 says great go-to session / summer beer. Oh yes. He says cooking. Yeah, I know, cooking, right? Cooking. Well, the videos are still posted if you want to look at me cooking food. Desire to see that. Watching it is not as interesting as actually eating it, though.
I bet.
I'm gonna go get my can. I want to see what the ABV says on my can because you piqued my interest. Now I saw some.
Yeah.
I saw some photos you posted from a sporting event where you were drinking cider. And
that wasn't me. That was Victoria. But yeah.
Victoria was drinking cider. I said, oh, to me. My daughter likes it. I said, we even did a video together where we tried like 5 or 6 different ciders. And I told my daughter, I said, Elizabeth, don't put me through that again.
Oh, that was quite funny. That it was two local teams. I had my team and our rival were having a match, and all of their grounds at the away. It was an away game, and they sold out of tickets, and we couldn't get tickets. So they had a big screen at our ground, and they were allowing people to drink throughout the game, which normally never happens. Normally you can only drink before the game at half time, or you can't take your drink into the stands with you. And they were allowing people to drink all throughout the game, and your ciders in the stands. They ran out of beer 2 or 3 times. That's why I had a glass bottle, and glass bottles are illegal to have in stadiums at the moment. So it was a bit strange having a glass bottle. I had Foster's because
they pitch them onto the field of play and they pitch them at each other, right?
Yeah, along those lines. Yeah, pretty much. I know I had Foster's, which is a beer I only actually ever had. It's got such a terrible reputation over here. I only ever had for the first time in March last year, and wasn't the biggest fan, but it wasn't the worst lager I've ever had, must be said.
What was it?
I had a little bottle of it. Foster's.
Oh yeah, okay. That's a different recipe in England, though.
Yeah, it's hated here. Well, it's hated by the craft beer sort of aficionados, but
yeah, how can it be hated if it's like the 3rd best-selling beer?
Exactly. People say that's piss, but you probably only know that if you taste the piss. But it's I don't think it's bad.
It's like in America, people tell me everyone hates Budweiser. I said that's true. That's why it only sells 16 million barrels a year.
Exactly.
It's hated.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see if I can find out some important information. I want to compare this can to your bottle. Mine says made in Nava, Mexico.
Oh, this might be a little bit difficult to find.
Be on the side.
It just says product of Mexico. There's not a lot of English on this, to be honest, which may be the reason why I'm struggling with it.
Okay, so we don't know if you're getting the Mexico City product or the Nava. My suspicion is that you're getting the Mexico City. I think the Nava is for the United States market only. There was an antitrust situation with the buyout, and so technically in the United States, it's not owned by InBev. But it really is. No, I'm not getting an ABV on my can. I'm only getting,
I've got something that says, it's not actually in English, so that's probably why I'm struggling with it. It says Lago Alberto number 156 CY. ANAHUAC. I don't know. That's all it says. I mean, all around the top of the label, it's just import stuff, import details.
Doesn't say anything about Ciudad Mexico. Nothing about Distrito Federal.
It just says it says Gebotteldor. I guess that means bottled in. Modelo DECY Lago Alberto number 156 Col Anahuac, Mexico. I'm fluent clearly.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I have to check that out. Bart Robinson says, I had Modelo and Heineken on tap the other night. Enjoyed both very much. So you went with that Mexican-Dutch combo. Okay. Carol says, cheers, guys. Cheers back to you, Carol. Anahuac. Okay, I'm going to look that up real fast on a map. Hey, you know what, Harry? I'm enjoying this beer.
Well, I certainly am.
Now, the counterpoint is somebody might say, yeah, but you enjoy almost everything. I'll be the first to admit that. That's a problem too, because like, what am I supposed to do? Like, force myself to hate things so I can establish credibility?
Exactly.
No, I'm not going to start hating things to try to build up, what do you say, like a position in the craft beer world. I like what I like.
Yeah.
And oh, well, if you don't like it, well, tough. I don't see why it's a big crisis. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think you have the same opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever beer it is, if you like it, you like it. You know, it may be macro, maybe micro, maybe. If you like it, that's good. And your views and your palate's always going to change as well. Some people who try and something this morning which infuriated me on this sort of subject, to be honest. We've got a lot of beers out here. I don't know if you've heard spoken about it in the past, but basically they've done a double IPA series in the past year and a bit, several versions of them, and every single one was an absolutely phenomenal beer. They were all sort of like East Coast style IPAs, every single one of them. You know, super hazy, and then someone's gone and said this morning a little bit one-dimensional, and I was like, about them like a couple of weeks back, you're raving about them saying they're the best beers ever, and then now you're coming on saying dimensional. I think that's like, you know, that's taking a palate level. It's saying those beers are terrible. This thing, you just got to enjoy, you know, stuck up in, you know, things that go on in a craft beer world on people's opinions and stuff.
Yeah, what does that mean, one-dimensional? Some of these terms that people use are mind-boggling to me. And then I watch, you know me, and you might be the same way. I watch a lot of beer reviews. Like, one of the first things I do in the morning is I go to my subscriptions list and I see whoever's done videos for beers that I've tried. If I've never tried the beer, I don't watch the video. I can't relate to it. I can't say, well, he's wrong or he's right, or she's wrong or she's right. I've never had the beer. What kind of evaluation can I make? If I've had the beer, and oftentimes I have had it, I'll watch their review or I'll listen to it. Like, I'll listen to it while I'm doing other things. And because I don't need to look at them drink it, right? I mean, I know what it looks like. It's gold or orange or something. But I was watching this one guy, and he was saying, oh, I used to love this beer, guys. This Stone Drink By, Enjoy By. It's called Enjoy By. Double IPA. I used to love this beer, guys. I gave it 100 out of 100, guys. He said, but now, it's just kind of ordinary. I said, oh, I can't believe it, you know. All these years, and you were just blown away by it, and you made videos saying it was 100 out of 100. But now, it's just run-of-the-mill, ordinary ho-hum. I said, oh, no, I can't go along with that. I drank it this month, and it was fantastic. It's as fantastic as it ever was. But then he admitted that his palate was wrecked from drinking a lot of New England style IPAs. Now, that could be true. His palate could be wrecked. But that doesn't mean the beer he's downgraded has changed and gotten any less of a fantastic beer. So that is where I took issue, but I didn't say anything. I just said, to me, it's a wonderful beer, and I let it go. I didn't go on the offensive. You know?
It's exactly the same case. I mean, the Enjoy Buys, I had one back January sort of time, and it was a spectacular beer. It was almost as good as some of the Cloudwater. Some of the Cloudwater beers, double IPAs, they're always, you know, a 9 out of 10 at least. IPAs, and the fact that someone's gone hating them because to move on to the next thing. It sounds a lot like from that guy. He's loved those beers all the past couple of years, and he's moved like, well, these were never as good, but they probably were as good. They probably were as good as I mean, you can't come back on your statement as saying this is an excellent, or maybe you can, but saying that this is an excellent beer and then all of a sudden it's not. It's just a terrible beer in comparison.
Yeah, it's a real weird thing, and I've watched that I'm not naming the channel, but I've watched that particular channel that I'm referencing without naming. I would never name it. I mean, I do name names all the time. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I love one day and hate tomorrow, or downgrade tomorrow, and I don't get it. I don't get it because but if he's being honest, if that's how he feels about it, you got to go along with that. I do worry though that some of the people that review beers, they're not so honest. In other words, they want to run with the crowd, and if a certain style is perceived as being passé or out to the farm now, then they want to make sure that they're faction. You know what I mean? But then how could you ever prove that? You hate to say that people have bad intentions or they're just trying to do a practice of positioning, but I do think that's part of the craft beer world, that there's a lot of positioning going on, or
yeah,
trying to stay ahead of the crowd.
It's keep up with the Joneses sort of thing all the time, and it's trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's just tiring. I find it so tiring. I tried to do it for some time, and then not with my reviews, but tried to do it in like in terms of keeping up. I just couldn't do it. It's something that we take into our brewery. We just just place to brew like a black IPA may not be the first place to brew a sour if we were ever going to do that, which we probably sincerely doubt we would. But as long as we're doing it and when we're enjoying doing it,
no, but you can't do everything. I used to get stressed out about it back 7 years ago, right? Like, so started really getting into the reviewing and everything. It's like a hamster or a gerbil or a rat running in a wheel, and you say, I gotta try this, I have to try that, and people say, have you tried this, have you tried that, go run out and get this, go run out and get that, get this, get that, get this, get that, get this, get that, and you're running and you're running and you're running, I gotta try, I gotta, and then eventually you say, what is the point of this? Does it make there's no point to this. Okay, there's 200,000 beer brands on the market, and I don't need to have a long beard and a man bun and then tell everybody about different hop profiles. I don't need to, there's no point to it. This, you know what I mean? It's like a exercise in futility, or a storm full of sound and fury signifying nothing.
Exactly. You get the beer, you get the beer. Much hype about different beers here, and I'm like, being Magic Rock have done 2 releases of they only do it once a year. They've done their Unhuman Cannibal and their every single, all the time, all throughout the year, they have this Cannibal, which is like an IPA. Human Cannibal is a double IPA, and then Unhuman is a triple IPA. I don't know whether they're different to what they. What's that? Sorry.
What's the name of that company? I couldn't hear you when you said it.
Magic Rock.
Oh, okay, Magic Rock. Okay.
I tried last year's, and last year's were phenomenal beers. Really, really hazy and lovely and very dangerous. Being 9% and 11%. But this year I've seen them. I went to that beer festival, was at Hop City a couple of weeks back, and then I saw them in the shops afterwards, saw them in the bars afterwards. I've been to a bottle shop on Monday, and I was like, I've tried it once before. It's probably different this year to what it was last year, but I'm not too interested or too bothered about getting it. it's just hard to keep up with the amount of different craft beers and beers alone that are out there. Get something else, and it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I'll happily watch someone else's review on it and just think, you know, maybe I missed out on something, maybe I didn't, but you know, there's plenty of other things to review.
Do you think that that sort of mentality demoralizes people after a while, and then they drop out of the whole scene and say, "Screw that! I don't need this. Is stupid."
Yeah, more than it has. But I think there's definitely been. I sort of place myself in. There's definitely been, you know, it's sort of like a people coming in and you know, and dropping in, dropping out of the craft beer scene. You know, some people who are just uber relaxed about it all, and those are the people I really like, because they just don't, you know, don't give a toss too much. You know, they'll try one craft beer, they'll try another little, and they'll try one real ale, another real ale. It doesn't really matter too much to them. Get the next big thing. But yeah, it is a
in other words, they're at the horse race, but they don't have a horse in the race.
Okay. Yeah. Mm.
Well, I'm enjoying this Negro Modelo, and I'll tell you what, because honestly, not Negro, the Especial, excuse me, Modelo Especial. Honestly, I could have drank this entire can within minutes.
I'm going slowly as well.
I mean, you could just guzzle this. I think you could actually drink it faster than water. Now,
I know I'd rather do it.
I mean, we're not advocating drinking of lager in a short amount of time, but what we're saying is that with a beer like Modelo Especial, that would be a feat that could be easily accomplished.
For sure, absolutely.
Well, what a delight. I'm glad you come up with these fantastic ideas. And something tells me that you've got some other little projects in your head.
I definitely do. A couple of other little random ones. I'll think of a couple more for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that. Oh boy, well, I guess that's the end of this session. Oh boy. All right, well, thank you for coming up with the idea, and the idea, or as some people say, idea. I notice older people say that a lot, idea, as though it has an R at the end of it.
Just an A.
I have an idea. Oh, when you were talking about that double IPA and that regular IPA from damn, I can't remember the name of the company. Yeah, I was about to say the price was dear, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would have been. I didn't see what it was. The normal IPA is normally about, you can get £3, that sort of region. For the double IPA, we're talking 6, 7.
Ouch.
Triple, it's going to be, you know, 9, 10, something like that.
No, that's painful. That's painful. That hurts my wallet.
Welcome to duty, beer duty and tax and stuff like that in the UK. It's awful.
Oh no. All right, thanks folks for watching this. Let me see any more online comments. Let me find it. Let me find the tab. Okay. Oh boy, look at this. Getting drunk again, Ronald, says Mr. Tank. No. Why? Do you want me to get drunk? All right. Hopium IPA. Oh, you mean Optimum? Yeah, that's a jewel. Carol says, it's a natural process when you try different things which are more sophisticated and in a better way. You tend to dislike earlier tastes which are less refined. There's a problem with what you're saying. What if you liked something that was super refined and then later on you decided you didn't like the thing that was super refined? That's what I'm talking about. You know, I'm not talking about you liked Dunkin' Donuts, and then later on you went to Cafe Du Monde, you found beignets, and you decided Dunkin' Donuts weren't the greatest thing. I'm talking about, and then you know what I'm talking about. All right. In other words, I started drinking coffee in a high school from an instant coffee machine. Okay, I understand that point. And at the time, I thought it was the best coffee in the world. Wow, you did? After I tasted nice espresso from a real coffee machine, I could no longer drink from that instant coffee machine. Yeah, but we're not talking about going from instant coffee to espresso. We're talking about going from gold to gold. From 24 karat gold to 24 karat gold. Like the first 24 karat gold. See what the problem is? Great stream, guys. Cheers. Thanks, Drayton Sawyer 69. Awesome. Now, I don't know if I'm awesome. No Name says, get drunk, Ron. It would take about 3 more cans of this because this stuff is so mellow. You deserve it. I don't deserve to get drunk. I don't think anybody deserves to get drunk. But, just kidding, people. Okay, well, that's it. Until next time,